John K is known at Nickelodeon as an absolute creep, and he has been exposed for his inappropriate relationships with young girls, messaging them through AOL and promising them a career in animation if they do what he says. So let's get into it. So let's talk about John Kricfalusi, also known as John K. He is a Canadian illustrator, blogger, voice actor, and former animator. He's best known for creating the television series The Ren and Stimpy Show. And he's an interesting guy.
We have Jimmy the idiot boy. Here he is. By the way, Jimmy dies at the end of every single cartoon. But he always comes back because he's a cartoon character. Here at Funko, we're going to do cartoons for men. And here, the head of our manly cartoon department is Stacy. Our biggest inspirations for manly cartoons, there's two of them actually, are Kirk Douglas. There he is. He's the most manly actor that ever lived. There he is. And the other inspiration is my dad. And that's him. And he's the most manly dad. And he was kind of mad that he had a wimpy cartoonist for a kid. So, to make him happy, we're going to make some manly cartoons for him.
Now let's talk a little bit about John K's show, The Ren and Stimpy Show. It features the characters Ren and Stimpy. Ren is an emotionally unstable and sociopathic chihuahua, and Stimpy is a good-natured yet dim-witted cat. Supposedly, the show was so vulgar that certain companies and networks didn't want to work with them, but Nickelodeon had an open mind.
We're alive! Alive! I tell you, alive!
I took it everywhere. I took it to NBC, ABC, Fox, you name it. Every network in the world, and they all turned it down, said it was too weird, too disgusting. Don't ever come back. So finally we took it to Nickelodeon, and they said, well, it's too disgusting, but we kind of like some disgusting stuff, and they went for it.
There seems to be a theme when it comes to Nickelodeon. I mean, trust me, I think Disney is just as bad, but they're way better at covering up their tracks. Nickelodeon just hires these like pervs, just knowing that they are so. And here's a little clip of Ren and Stimpy if you haven't seen the show before.
Gosh, Ren, isn't this beautiful? Huh? Hey, you know what would be fun? Let's go skinny dipping. What? Are you crazy?
The show definitely had some gross moments, but John K was way worse. So let's talk a little bit about his past behavior. An investigation done by BuzzFeed went behind the scenes and spoke to some of John K's victims. They say that John made his fixation on teen girls obvious in his art. For the projects he worked on for the Cartoon Network, for Fox Kids, and Adult Swim, Howard Stern supposedly asked him about a character he was promoting. He called Soda Pop a hot chick with big boobs and nice legs. And John responded with a smile and said, she's underage too, which is so disgusting because he's depicting teenage girls in such a gross manner. And even though John is a gross guy, he's still being celebrated in Hollywood. A lot of people credit him as the inspiration for SpongeBob SquarePants and Adventure Time and Rick and Morty. It looks like in 2014 he worked for Miley Cyrus and her Bangers tour. He's also been credited with a few sequences on The Simpsons. He's also got a portrait hung up at Nickelodeon. He's got all of that even after these allegations. Today in this video, we're going to be speaking about two of John's victims who have come forward in the past. And I think it's important to talk about these stories and to support these survivors because it will support other people in coming out against some of these gross people who use their power in Hollywood to take advantage of others, which is never okay. And there's certain words I wish I could use, but you know, YouTube's rules. Let's start off by talking about Robin Bird. So Robin claims back in 1994, she was 13 years old and she had sent John K a video of herself talking about her drawings and these animated characters. John actually responded to her letter and she thought this was the first step in becoming someone who would create these type of shows. At that point, they became friendly, which is concerning because he's 39 years old. He's sending her boxes of toys and art supplies. Like, where the hell were her parents at this point? At one point, he visited her at the trailer park where she lived in Arizona. When she was in 11th grade, he flew her to LA to show her his studio and to talk about her future. On that trip, in a room with a sliding glass door that led to his pool, he touched her private area through her pajamas as she laid frozen on a blanket he placed on the floor. She was 16 at this point. So it's clear this man was using his position of power in the industry to communicate with a young 13-year-old girl and ultimately manipulate her into some type of sick relationship with him. And that relationship further developed. In the summer of 1997, before her senior year in high school, he flew her to LA again when she had an internship at his production company. She lived with him as his 16-year-old girlfriend and intern. She ultimately moved into his home permanently at the age of 17, and he was supposedly helping her with her career. That was the purpose of it all. While living in her home as his intern, she was making copies, keeping art organized, learning how to become an animator. She felt like she made her dream come true. He also convinced her that their 25-year age difference was romantic, that she was a 16-year-old, and that they were breaking the rules of society by being together. Here's a picture of the couple together, and this was Christmas Eve. And look at them together, hanging out and drinking in their home. I can't even imagine like the mindset that she had, because at this point, like being manipulated by a man this old at such a young age, at the age of 13, and you believe that he has your dreams in the palm of his hand, that power like imbalance is unreal. At some point, their relationship came to an end, and it wasn't pretty. She left him in the year 2002, and after she left, he decided to shift his attention to someone new. Then in 2008, Robin Bird decided to reach out to an old friend, Katie Rice, someone else who had also been taken advantage of by John. John actually introduced Katie and Robin back in the day in the mid-90s through AOL and promised that they would both be hired at his production company someday. John supposedly never got physical with Katie, but he began hitting on her when she was a minor, sending her flirty letters and then talking to her about self-pleasure. At one point, Katie did work for John, and once she did, he started harassing her. Here's a photo of Katie Rice, and let's talk a little bit about her experience. Ever since she was in the 4th grade, she wanted to be an artist, and then once she was a tween, she wanted to be a cartoonist. She already knew that she was meant for this industry. So Katie actually reached out to John when she was about 14 years old, and they started speaking over AOL, which I feel like AOL is such a, like, I don't know, probably a lot of horrible things went down on AOL. Here's actually a video of Katie and John K. It's a super viral video that we're gonna watch together before we go through the rest of Katie's story.
Hi. Hey, this is Katie Rice. She is one of the young artists I was telling you about who sought me out because she grew up watching Ren and Stimpy, right? Mm-hmm. So,
Okay, just to give you guys some background, you're gonna see how uncomfortable she is throughout this video, and John just goes back and forth with like being weird and just, you'll see.
Ren and Stimpy has a lot of specialists on it. Like, we have people who draw manly, we have people who draw sensitive, we have people who draw sexy girls. Katie is the princess of sexy girl artists. Now I got to tell you a little history, because all through the 80s, when I was working at Hanna-Barbera and Filmation and all these studios, I always wanted to draw sexy girls into the cartoons. But since the networks were all run by dykes, they wouldn't let you, because they thought it was offensive to women to draw girls cute, like Katie here. So it frustrated me and all the other artists that like to draw sexy girls. So when Ren and Stimpy came along, I managed to get a couple of scenes, like in Powdered Toast Man. What's the name of the girl? The lovely assistant in Powdered Toast Man? Mm-hmm. Now,
see how comfortable he is, like, talking about this stuff, like, right on camera and just being so weird? He's way too comfortable.
Katie used to watch these cartoons, and didn't that crap inspire you or something?
Yes, I love the girls. I like those Lynn Naylor girls too, and Stimpy's Big Day.
Yeah, those were great. And I think Katie showed me one time, she drew, I was at her 15th birthday party. We'll tell you that backstory a little bit later. And
I was literally going to say that. We'll talk about that in a little bit. So shoot, he knows where.
She showed me her sketchbook, and one of the drawings in it was a copy of a drawing I did of my character, Sody Pop. You still have that drawing?
Yes, it's not very good.
Yeah, it was pretty cool. Anyway, she is now, as far as I know, the best artist in the business at doing sexy girls. And she has a website called funnycute.com.
.blogspot.com.
There you go. Funny Cute. Look up Katie Rice and Funny Cute. And anyways, so the new Ren and Stimpy's come along, and Spike TV asked me, John, you know, you got to do something that adults like. Like when we made the original Ren and Stimpy, I did things that kids like boogers and farts. So what did adults like? They like naked. So we did a cartoon called Naked Beach Frenzy. Now, it wasn't originally called that, and the idea for the cartoon came from Carolyn J. Alvarez, who's another Ren and Stimpy fan, and she mailed me a letter saying, hey, John, why don't you make a cartoon where Ren and Stimpy go to the beach, and Stimpy thinks that they're there to get exercise and fresh air and sunshine and all this good stuff. But it turns out that Ren is there because he just wants to look at all the hot running around in thongs and stuff. So I recruited Katie to be the lead artist on the cartoon. She designed all the sexy girls. We had this one scene where Ren and Stimpy are bathroom attendants in the shower room, the girls' shower room on the beach. So Katie was drawing all the shower scenes. And we had a problem. What was the problem? Do you remember?
No.
Okay. It was, how do you draw girls in the shower naked and not show the good parts? So Katie drew the good parts. And I was all nervous. I kept thinking, oh, I'd call her up. I was in Canada and she was here in LA. And I'd call her up and say, Katie, you gotta put hands in front of them or hair or soap suds or something. Otherwise we're all gonna get fired. So,
Well, we started, actually it was a little different than that. I drew them all sort of Fantasia style with, they had the boobs, but there was no nipples on them. And then I remember, like, right before we turned the cartoon in, we were trying to come up with ways to hide them, whether it be foam or hands or whatever. And I remember asking John, John, what are we going to do? They don't have nipples and there's nothing covering it. What do we do? I said, just draw nipples on them. So I went through all the scenes really quick and just did the nipples on every girl.
how that happened was I called up Kevin Kay at Spike TV and I told him the problem. I said, how do we do a shower scene without showing the nipples? After a while, it's going to get repetitive to just keep trying to hide it. So he said, you know what, we're a man's network. Draw the goddamn nipples. So we did, and Katie did, and all the guys that had to follow up on her scenes spent a lot of time in the bathroom, let me tell you. So we did exactly what they told us to do, and then they never aired it. So, and we got fired.
We blamed Janet Jackson.
Yeah, that's right, it was Janet Jackson's fault.
Write her a nasty letter.
Our show appeared at Spike TV ready to air, and then Janet and Justin did us in. So. But anyways, you don't care anymore because you've got this filth right in front of you. Naked Beach Frenzy, here it comes.
A bunch of these comments also agree with us that I'm assuming that we all agreed that that was pretty weird and that her body language is off. He like, it wasn't weird the entire time, but he would like make these little points and use certain words that are almost like designed to evoke emotion. Someone said, just when you think he's acting normal, he goes right back to being weird. Someone else wrote, this is far more disturbing to watch knowing what this girl had to go through with him. So that being said, let's go ahead and talk a little bit more about Katie Rice's story. They continued chatting online and on the phone into her sophomore year of high school. John's messages made her feel special because that's the manipulation of it all. In an AOL conversation, he told her not to copy and send to her friends. He said, I want sick to squeeze you, and I'm crazy about you, Katie. Do I ever make you tingle? Ooh. In an email she printed and saved from a few days after she turned 15, the 41-year-old John wrote, I'm thinking about you very hard right now, and I have a little tickle in my chest. This guy's 40 years old. He knows what he's doing. He's speaking to a 15-year-old girl, and you can't be like that direct with them or you're really going to scare them away. You've got to slowly, it's just so gross. It's just like, it's like a slow manipulation process that she went through. At the time, Katie, a 15-year-old girl, did not see the harm. I think this 40-year-old man is hitting on me, she wrote in her diary, saying that her friends also agreed with her. Katie also wrote, but he's never pervy. He's also very nice and gives me a lot of drawing tips. So she even tried to justify his kind of like creepy hitting on her behavior with him. Well, you know what? He's got the power. They ended up meeting a few times in LA, and they kept talking after she moved with her parents from California to Lake Tahoe in 1996. She was entering the 10th grade at age 14 when they had a conversation on the phone, and he told her to repeat after him. John's D slides in my P. He asked her at this young age to tell him that his D slides in her P. She refused to say that, actually. He was trying to get off on the phone and she was like, I'm not going to say that. In that moment, she realized exactly what John was trying to do to her. That weird phone conversation really ruined their relationship because John pushed it too far for her. She did still trust him and she was still friends with him, especially after moving away from her home in California to Lake Tahoe. He actually attended her 15th birthday party, which you guys heard him mention that in the tape earlier that he was there, but they abruptly stopped speaking in early 1997. And there's proof of him at her birthday party. Like, look how young she is. Why is he such a creep? I wonder if he gave her that as well, like that drawing. He must have. He must have given her that drawing as like a present. I wonder if she still has it. When Robin and Katie connected back in 2008, they started emailing each other. And at that point, Katie shared that John was doing all sorts of bizarre stuff, waiting naked in his living room for when I let myself into his house to work in the mornings, walking around with his wiener hanging out of his pants, telling me that his friend's advice to get me was to R-word me one day. This guy, like, what he did to her is just unreal. And he became her employer. Katie finally cut it off with John after 2 incidents went down pretty close together. The first one was this R-word threat during the Weird Al job. So John was actually hired to help produce the Weird Al music video, and this is where the R-word threat came. And then the second incident went down when she found CP, inappropriate content of children on his computer, images of girls she didn't recognize. She remembered seeing one photo of a girl who looked like she was 10 years old and you could see everything. Oh my God, it's so disgusting. Another ex-girlfriend of John's also confirmed that she saw images of girls on his laptop as well. Girls that appeared to be between 17 and 14 on his personal computer around 2007. So this is a crime. This man has committed a crime. The reason why Robin and Katie did not speak out earlier on was because a lot of people supported this man and his show and just would have called them crazy, and they would have gotten a ton of backlash. Thankfully, they've had time to heal and grow and at least attempt to get justice against John. Nowadays, Robin teaches philosophy and an undergraduate writing class, and it looks like Katie still works in animation. Katie did try to seek out justice before. Katie has tried 3 times to report the inappropriate content of children that she saw on his computer before. She reported it twice to the National Center for Missing and Exploited Children, and she also reported it to the police. Yet the statute of limitations for her allegations were up, so they couldn't get any warrant to see his computer and they can't pursue anything. Which is really like just disturbing. I don't know. I mean, I guess like laws are laws, but if you think about it, like he probably does still have content on some of his like devices. If he was into it back then, he's probably into it now. Robin also tried to seek out justice, but the police told her that these allegations, these crimes were too old to investigate. So She believes that he shouldn't be able to get away with this, but the law is protecting him. Even though these allegations weren't made public until later on, everybody knew about Robin and John's relationship. Many people in the industry knew about John K's younger girlfriend and that she was 15 years old, and people even mentioned it in pieces of work. It was just well known in the animation industry, which is gross that people just supported this behavior and never called him out for it. John has responded to these allegations, and oh boy, I have never seen so many excuses. His lawyer claims that the 1990s were a time of mental and emotional fragility for John. After losing Ren and Stimpy, he was struggling, which a lot of this happened before losing Ren and Stimpy, so it sounds like a bunch of BS. He claims he's never had this inappropriate content of children and that there's a lot that is wrong. He even uses ADHD to justify his behavior. He released an apology to the women and his fans for his behavior, which he said was motivated by undiagnosed bipolar disorder and ADHD, as well as poor impulse control, which mental health is real, trust me, but it's not a real excuse. There's no doubt in my mind that John suffers from mental health issues, but at the same time, I think a lot of it happened after he was fired at Nick, which a lot of his poor behavior happened before that point. But it was right for Nickelodeon to cut him off because he was late on deadlines, the finances were a mess, the work life, just the culture in general was toxic. People were complaining about him. He's also like he's a perfect example of someone who just embodies toxic masculinity. Like, he's all about the man and the naked women and all that. It's just like so old. Like, Nickelodeon, everyone needs to move on. I hit my microphone right there. I don't know if you guys heard anything, but oopsie. ASMR channel. At the end of the day, there's a clear theme at Nickelodeon. We've got Dan Schneider, we've got John K, we've got Brian Peck, and I wanted to talk a little bit more about Disney. So email me everything you guys got. Anything you have you want me to talk about, feel free to email me. Let's go ahead and open this P.O. Box package item. It looks like it's from Pima Sherpa. Don't know what that is, but it says it's a carbon neutral package. Oh my gosh, I love these. These are the best incense ever, literally. Like, I don't like incense usually. These are the only ones I'll ever burn. Like Nag Champa, because they don't, like, sometimes incense have too much of like the smoke like flavor, not enough of like this the scent itself. I don't know how to describe it, but hopefully they have a letter in here. I don't see a letter yet. Maybe inside. Oh, right here. Thank you. Thank you. Hi, Sloan. I've been watching your videos for a while now. Seeing you grow your channel is so inspiring. It has inspired me to start my own small online handcraft business. We have modern and practical incense holders for now. I hope this incense holder, sorry, I am so bad at reading like cursive. I'm working on it though, guys. I am working on it. Adds to your spiritual growth. Ooh, I love that. Thank you for all that you do for small businesses all around the world. It means so much to us. Good luck with everything coming your way this year. Wishing you good health, happiness, and success. Please feel free to share my Instagram handle and Amazon page. Ooh, you're on Amazon? That is dangerous. So grateful for you. And their page is Artisaint _official. Ooh, let's go ahead and see what this box this is all about. Wow, it is official. Artisaint. I know it's pronounced Artisan. I'm just like really like, I see the word saint nowadays and I can't help but saying like saint because of living in St. Pete, and just like a lot of things are called saint here. So reading that, I'm just like, it's tripping me up. Let's go ahead and see. Whoa. Look at this thingy. Oh my gosh. Look. Oh, it's like a really pretty incense holder. Wow, I really like this one. It feels so well made. It's got like, it's like ceramic. So pretty and like, just like, wow. So the incense will go in it like this way. I can't wait to set this up. Thank you so much. Congrats on your business. Go and check them out below. And I'll see you guys. It could be a weapon too. I'll see you guys in a new video soon. Bye, guys.